After a spring break, which was between the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix and today, we are back with European Racing Organization racing in PC F1 TIA. And we're coming to France at Paul Ricard, a circuit that will not be visited by real Formula 1 this year. But we are going there today. My name is Wojciech Śmigowski, I'm Ero Pc F1 commentator and entire European Racing Organization's owner, and I invite you to watch this race with us. And I'm going to tell you something very interesting going on here already, because if we look at the game at the moment, if we look at the Paul Ricard circuit, as long as you can see it, that is correct. It's raining. It's genuinely raining. We've got 70 drivers to the grid today, by the way. Most of them being full-time drivers. There's like 15 of them, I believe. And also a couple of reserves and new debuting drivers in PCF1. For example, Harways is a new full-time Haas F1 driver. Continuing, Marek Iwanek and Darius Bodian are reserves for today for Mercedes, and David Hoy is in Haas. And we've also got Mitchell Snape in the Alpha Tauri. And also we've got a new PC F1 driver today having his very first performance in Ero. That is Bartosz Ciborowski, the Polish driver, well, the only Polish driver on the grid now, racing in PCF1 today. The days when there was basically half of Polish grid are over. Now it's mostly international, I believe, with a little bit of advantage of British people. However, yeah, Poland is back into PCF1, as I'm looking for drivers who are currently starting their own laps, and I believe the first one is going to be Mitchell Snape of all people, going to be the first driver to set a lap time, the PCA F3 driver, if you're interested in that, who's also raced at PCF2 yesterday alongside me, not as a teammate, but in the same grid. He's finished like 7th as far as I'm aware. I was 3rd, so I can tell that at least I scored a podium. Also from good news, Ryan Grob is back on the grid after a massive break he's taken, as he is now racing in McLaren and will fight for that 2nd place in the championship. We are now driving with Mitchell, who's already gone through turns 1 and 2 smoothly. Now we're approaching turn 3. You can see him going through the 4th gear mainly, but we've seen him turning on the 3rd for a moment, here even the 5th, because how OP short shifting is. And also I can see something is already happening, and this might cause a lobby restart, as Justin Chevalier of all people is stuck, I believe, on the exit of turn 5. We'll see about that after qualifying, as Mitchell is now approaching the chicane after the Mistral straight, locking up there a little, because this is a tricky place, sliding a little bit, but I think he's keeping it running. He is though, as we are approaching Sector 2 with a time of 56.6. Now approaching one of the fastest turns in the entire track. Turn 10 and then turn 11, one of the most famous corners of recent times, as Charles Leclerc has got that inevitable end to his championship hopes on this particular place. Now we're approaching turn 12, which has seen quite a lot of scenes, as the entire track basically. On the last lap of last season's PSF1 French Grand Prix, you could see the last lap highlight on the TikTok and YouTube short, which has got a bit of views, to be honest. As Mitchell Snape unfortunately invalidates on the exit of the final corner. How about Ryan Dubas, who's raced in PCF2 by the way yesterday, but without a racing line assist? Not the greatest result after all, as he crosses the line with 39.0. Nilsson is currently in a Sector 1 looking for drivers about to cross the line. That is Ciborowski, but he's starting. We've also got a Haas of Hoy and Wales. That is Wales crossing the line to start lap. Pavlakovic is in Sector 3, so he's the one to follow, as he says that there's a pretty decent chance for him going on a null stop if there is a wet race entirely, as he currently goes 2nd fastest with 39.2, actually using ERS, so this is quite an interesting detail. Thomas Grart is now crossing the line as he's exiting the final corner. Mills, meanwhile, goes on provisional pole with 38.6. He likes these type of conditions, but Thomas Grart says that isn't enough and goes for a 37.7. How about just the Chevalier update? That is very interesting, you know. We've got the Alpine being stuck there. I'm actually going to ask what is going on with this particular situation. So we can see more and more drivers going through him. Meanwhile, Quentin Hesh is on provisional pole. Chiborowski currently in turn 10. Approaching the hairpin, looking for drivers about to cross the line. That is Drake Dempsey, but he's invalidated. Probably trying to set up a delta. There's a chance for it. I don't say no. Nelson goes 6th fastest. There's also a McLaren of Ryan Grob, also invalidated. So that is very interesting. Harways about to cross the line, but with a legit lap, without any invalidations, trying to set any deltas whatsoever. As Harways crosses the line to finish this lap on the 6th, 39.2. We've also got the Alpha Tauri of Mitchell Snape invalidated yet again, but I believe that was this and next lap invalidated. Drake Dempsey now goes through Justin Chevalier's Ghost, which we still don't know what is going on with him. Very fucking hard to line, but to start the lap, how about Fraser Robertson? He's actually the one to finish on softs. So I believe this is crossover conditions, if we're brutally honest. Because we've got Fraser Robertson actually somehow going through it as he crosses the line to finish 7th, 39.2. His time isn't any worse because we could see him applying brakes on the main straight. This actually might be conditions for slicks. Very slightly faster, but faster after all. He's the only one to go on softs also. That's the bold strategy. What if this brings him a pole position? That would have been one of the craziest things ever, because Fraser has never got even on the podium in a singular race. He's got like 2 or 3 top 5 finishes, but that was about it. He can score points, but like once every 3 or 4 races. As you can see, a little bit of a mess on the exit of the chicane, causing yellow flags. Fraser Robertson, well, I think there's something going on, because you can see there's little to no rain. There is some droplets, but it's not much. And Fraser Robertson goes on soft tires, now braking a little bit. You look at the time on the delta, I don't know what's going on, if he's pressing these brakes actually, or he's doing it on purpose. Ryan Grob goes 2nd fastest, 37.6. Is he hiding something with this brake application? As he nearly spins round on the exit of turn 12, and he goes to the pit lane, I believe. Although this genuinely was the time he could go for pole position with. Maybe not pole position, but definitely somewhere higher than he's now, 9th. As Justin indeed confirms he's in the session, however, he's not applying for a lobby restart just yet, but however there will be problems on the race. We'll immediately restart the session and you will have to wait a couple more minutes. I hope this will be without a single scandal like in Imola, where we could basically hear the protest against one of the former now drivers, who is now banned from Ero, for basically taking out Hugo Nelson on purpose in qualifying. Nelson having bad luck in April in terms of that. As Harways, although he's invited, he's a 2nd up on his lap time. I'm wondering if anyone is on softs as well, because okay, Nelson, Grart and Hesh have all gone for softs as well, so I believe Robertson trying to fool the rest of the grid by pretending to be slow has not made his tactic work actually, as he's the only one to settle up on softs. But for example, Quentin Hesh is actually on the slicks, which allows us to see if someone, without trying to do some strategic moves, will actually be going for a decent lap. On this set of conditions, Thomas Grart definitely sliding a little, but he's just about starting lap, so no need to worry about it. but less than 8 minutes to go, so this might be the right time to try as Drake Dempsey, I believe. There's a chance of him basically starting last, as he said, by himself. As Quentin Fish is just about crossing the line back to start his own lap, so doesn't really count. Ivanek is in sector 2. Bodian of all people on 8th place, despite the fact he usually races with ABS, and bended beautifully on the exit of turn 9, sorry, yesterday in front of my eyes in PCF2. Well, that is very decent lap from him to finish on the 8th, right behind Arjan Bulbas. And I believe Arjan will go for a better lap time as one of the Red Bulls is crossing the line. That is Hugo Nelson, but he's starting. Luke Mills on the inter, so Red Bull's having decent comparison now of the pace. And all depends on what Hugo Nelson and Luke Mills will do with their lap times, as I haven't seen someone getting into 7th. That is Ciborowski with 38.4, right behind Ferry Wagner. Mitchell Snape about to cross the line. Justin Chevalier is still being stacked, but as we said, we're probably going to solve it out after the qualifying. As Justin already said, that is last to first incoming, so actually it isn't, he said. Dempsey is out of the session, as I said, so he's actually doing last to first challenge with Justin and Mitchell as well. And also I can tell David Howe because he's got a lap of over 2 minutes. Fantastic driving skills from the driver who's debuting in Pc F1, but I think he's going for a better one right now. As you can see, he's starting a new one. Drake, by the way, did a 36.5. He would do it if he didn't invalidate it on purpose. As David Hoy with a beautiful spin, which basically makes him stuck on the 14th place. Crucially though, I need to see Luke Mills about to cross the line now. I don't know what his delta is, but I believe he's improving his own lap and maybe going for like 3rd place already. In these crazy qualifying conditions, he stays 4th, although he's improved by 0.3 of a second. Hugo Nilsson improved by 1/10 only in sector 2, so I don't think this soft tires are giving too much, as he's basically gone 13th fastest, but with a slight improvement. Thomas Krart, I believe he's letting past the other Aston of Fraser Robertson, so I don't think he's actually going for a lap right now, but Quentin is. Ryan Grob is on the inter tires, but he's just about starting. Looking for more drivers about to cross the line. That is Haraway on the inters, but he's invalidated. Both Aston Martin drivers are in sector 3, so Fraser Robertson is the next one to cross the line. On Paul Ricard, we got how many minutes to go? That is less than 5 minutes to go, so this actually makes drivers need to decide quick if they go for the soft tires or stick to the inters on these very, very weird weather conditions, as Fraser Robertson goes 8th fastest, 11 milliseconds behind Ciborowski on the 8th place. On the Alfa Romeo crossing the line, that is Ferry Wagner crossing the line, but to start his own lap. Arjan Bulbas starting as well. Quentin Hesh is actually the one going for it, I believe. No, he's not. He's braking as well. Luke Mills invalidated. Hugo Nilsson neutral gear, trying to glitch the ERS out. Ryan Grob, I don't know if he's improving his lap time because we couldn't see that one, but he's definitely pushing, so I think there's something going on. He might be going for a 0.3 or maybe even 0.2 when it comes to trying to get pole position. He goes wide on the entry of turn 12. I don't know if that's on purpose, because personally this gave me plenty of lap time. But Ryan Grob about to cross the line, coming out of the final corner on one of the most spacious tracks in the entire F1 calendar. We basically have no gravel traps, I believe. Ryan Grob about to cross the line, yet to set a pole position lap time with 37.5. He improved, but it wasn't enough to get on pole. Quentin Hescher is still on it, so we might see some sensational display, because without Rick, I would believe personally that it would be Ryan or maybe even Luke Mills going for it. Arjan Bulbas as well. Quentin Hescher is actually surprising us all a little bit. We knew he had potential for some decent results, just mentioning P2 in Azerbaijan Grand Prix after 7 pit stops. But he's currently losing time in Sector 2, I believe, so I don't think these softs are giving too much of a time. I think they give just about a little. Good Pavlakovic currently 5th. Arjan Bilbas on the 9th place, improving by 2/10. Doesn't give him anything so far. It all depends on the final corners, which has gone through quite decently. As Janton Foss actually appeared on the chat, as Bilbas is 3 milliseconds slower than Ciborowski on 8th. Mitchell Snape currently goes through the missile chicane. As he's now crossing the line with 55.7 purple according to the game, but I don't really believe in that. However, we might be surprised as Luke Mills meanwhile goes 2nd with 37.5. Thomas Grart goes slower, Kulpa Blakovic meanwhile improves by half a second, which will secure his 5th, but I don't think he's going for anything better, unless he does a massive Sector 2. Robertson retires from the session, will not improve anything by anything. Pavlakovic finishes 19 milliseconds, as that I believe is Fraser Robertson, who tried retiring on track far away from everyone but failed, as the AI came back on track just on time to block Quill a little bit, but I don't think he's mad for it, as he's finished his lap just about anyways. I don't know what's going on here, because we've got Ivanek and Ciborowski. Ciborowski's on the outlap, so it doesn't really matter, but he's running out of time now, because it's got 35 seconds to go. Ivanek with a beautiful 360 to prevent him from improving by anything. As Ciborowski is about to maybe not even make it, it all depends if he cuts the corner. Well, you can get a penalty point for that, but it may pay off as well. He's got 15 seconds to go. I don't think he's making it. Ciborowski, I don't think he's going for another lap. Same as Ferry Wagner, who's currently just exiting turn 12. We've got final laps of this qualifying session. Thomas Grart is the first one to cross the line, but actually not have another chance. And he goes fastest with 37.0. Placing him on provisional pole. We've got then Ivanek or Bodian. That is Bodian. Crossing the line, but not improving at all. Snape on the 14th, but he's in Sector 3. I'm looking for more and more drivers. Wagner stays 6th. Ryan Grob on 4th place, chasing down that provisional pole position, at least one pole position point. After his comeback, he doesn't though. He's missing on pole by 6 milliseconds. You can see there's groups of drivers being very, very close to each other. That is Grart and Grob, or for example, Ferry Wagner, Bartosz Ciborowski, and Arjan Bilbas, and Fraser Robertson as well. As Arjan Bilbas will probably stay 8th, as Harwell goes still on the lap though. Same as David Hoy, but I don't think David Hoy will go anything higher than 10th. Especially with how cautiously he goes through, he navigates these corners. Both has drivers will follow today. With not the greatest start to qualifying, but the end might be decent with Hoy going on position number 12. And Harwell, actually he's got promoted into P5 of all places. So that is the end of the qualifying session with Thomas Grart ahead of Ryan Grob and Quentin Hesh. Then we've got Luke Mills, Harris, and Kul Pavlakovic. Wagner, Ciborowski, Bill Bass, and Robertson rounding up the top 10. Darius Bodian, David Hoy, Marek Ivanek, Hugo Nelson, Mitchell Snape, Justin Chevalier, Jake Dempsey. And now, Jonathan Foss joining the session. As you can see, he didn't make it at all. As we've also been given the information that it's going to rain during the race. It is, with starting light cloud. Then we're going on to full wets and then inters. As we're just approaching the maintenance screen, which means we may be out, not really speaking too much for a moment now. However, the restart is going to be really quick, I believe. We should be within 5 minutes. Maybe like 7, but that is most. Most of the drivers have already joined the grid. We're just about awaiting the grid being set up, and then we'll go on and race in the French Grand Prix. As I believe we're just missing one name on the grid. Well, we should be getting ready soon. As I'm just waiting for Ryan Grob, I believe. And as I said, we are back within seconds. As we've also got a new name on the grid of Jonathan Voss. He's not a debut driver, he's basically a full-time driver since quite a long time now in EROs. He's like season 6 now. And I'm afraid we won't be going for yet another lobby restart, as Mitchell Snape has suddenly got a little bit of an issue. At least we start under beautiful dry conditions, but we might not see Mitchell Snape on the grid today. We'll see about, I hope, very, very quick reaction. Drivers are just getting their setups ready, so yep, Mitchell is not going to race today, unfortunately. We've got 17 on the grid, with Grad, Grob, Hash on pole position, then Mills, Wade, Pawlakovic, Wagner, Ciborowski, Bilbas, Robertson. I basically know this order very, very well. Bodian, Hoy, Vanek, Nilsson, Chevalier, Dempsey, Voss. As Mitchell Snape is suffering issues not relating to the game when it comes to racing, so we can't say too much. I wonder who's going to win today. And of course we can see plenty of pit crews members basically T-posing on the garage. Someone has already said that we're about to start the Grand Prix. Everyone is on the hard tires though, so I'm wondering if this is all for picking up the setup, or is this due to basically everyone willing to start on these hard tires. We'll see about that very, very shortly, as we are about to start this Grand Prix within seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. Thomas Gardner's sensational pole is lights out, and away we go. And it looks like it isn't sensational pole position, as Thomas Gardner having a really good start over Ryan Grob, sliding there a little. Quentin Hirsch covering up on the 3rd place ahead of Luke Mills and then the rest of the field. Ryan Grob looks for a space down the inside to make a move on Thomas, but he's yet to make it, as one of the Alfa Romeos has gone wide. That is very Wagner losing all of the places to left, and Ryan Grob takes the lead into turn 3, and now the McLaren's up front, maybe looking for the first win, since, well, that is going to be interesting. Season 6, there is some yellow flags appearing. Darius Bodian is up into 7th place, fighting with Pawlakovic for 6th. There has been some little bit of a yellow flags, but it's no issues as of now. Bartosz Ciborowski in 10th place, fighting Dempsey already, and Hugo Nilsson for position number 10. And Drake is already going for the points-paying position at the very start of the Grand Prix. He goes down the inside of the Polish driver, goes round the outside on the exit of the chicane, and takes position number 10. Beautiful overtake from the Alfa Romeo. We've seen some yellow flags at the back. However, it's going to be more interesting if we see Bodian and Arian Dudas going wheel to wheel. And I think Darius is going to leave just enough space. And respect that Ariel has to get some space from him, as they are side by side. Arian is up into 8th place, not yet, as they are still going wheel to wheel into turn 12. And Darius Bodian keeps himself ahead of the Ferrari driver, who's fighting the 2nd place in the championship. Harwell is fighting Quentin Hesh as well. I think he's going to the pits. No, he's not going to the pits, although it seemed like it, as they are still wheel to wheel on the exit of the final corner, and wheel to wheel throughout the straight. And I think Harwell is just going to be up front into turn 1 ahead of Quentin Hesh. Great start from the Haas driver. They are now side by side still into turns 1 and 2, very, very close from contact, millimeters actually. And this time it's the Alpine in front on position number 4. Quil Pawlakovic now fighting Darius Bodian, but Bodian goes down the inside and is spun by Quil Pawlakovic. I don't think this is the best place to make an overtake, And Iron Bulbas has been spun in the process, I don't know how, of all people. With Jake Dempsey as well losing all of the places all the way to 16th. Probably trying to go for it yet again. Because one time was too easy. As we've seen Jonathan Voss, a little bit of an interesting maneuver to get ahead of Justin Chevalier, will to will, into the chicane, turn 8 and 9. He decides to back out though, as he's got a little bit of a wing damage, I believe, which is going to force him to go to the pits. Meanwhile, the front, Rand Grob still ahead of Thomas Grad. However, Thomas Grad is just half a second behind, so whenever DRS gets available, I think they are going to fight for that position number 1. Luke Mills already over 2 seconds behind these two drivers. He's carrying Quentin, Harry and Pavlakovic. As Ferry Fagan, I believe he's gone for a long journey from going quiet into turns 1 and 2 to nearly last place, and then all the way back to 7th, even 2 laps. Justin Chevalier, meanwhile the update of the last first challengers, is going 10th, and Hugo Nilsson is 9th. Drake Dempsey, he's gone to the pits, so I think he's got wing damage. Renato Voss refuses to pit though. We'll see about the Alfa Romeo, I don't know what's going on. But the last of first probably goes away now for Drake Dempsey. With putting on the hard tires, and indeed that is a new front wing. That was a wing damage for the Alfa Romeo driver, who's now going to lose 30 seconds. And we'll see how quickly is he going to regain all the places, as Rand Grob and Thomas Grad sitting currently on 1st and 2nd. We've also seen a will-to-will between Nilsson and Bilbas and Ivanek, and Ivanek spun in the process. Not the greatest start for the Mercedes reserve drivers. David Hoy is being overtaken by Fraser Robertson into turn 8, although late braking from the Haas driver, nearly making the position back on the Aston Martin driver. Justin Chevalier meanwhile goes still behind Ciborowski, but I think it's a matter of time if the AlphaTauri driver gets overtaken, as Justin looks for the space down inside. There was no space though, as this is the nature of the corner. He's looking for small spaces though, as Ciborowski is already 1.5 seconds behind Wagoner. This opens up a chance, this little slide for Justin to make a move before the DRS detection point. I don't think Justin is going to get DRS now, but they are will to will into the final corner, and I think this is the time. Well, Alpine driver is a little bit of pushed off track, but I think he's going to be ahead of Ciborowski. No, he's not having DRS, and this is a free wide situation because Hugo Nilsson gets involved as well. Looks for the space to go in front of the AlphaTauri or the Alpine driver, but I think Ciborowski safely goes off the track to avoid any contact and loses a place in the process. Now he's going to be 10th place. Interesting fights going on currently in the French Grand Prix. For Jack Harrington, if you're watching it, doubting France giving great racing, there you go. We've got this free wide, and we've got many more situations, as for example spinning with Pavlakovic, dropping all the way to 13th, and now he's going to be behind Bodian and Arjan Bilbas as well. Meanwhile, at front, Ryan Grob still ahead of Thomas Krart. I'm also watching the gap between Drake and Marek Ivanek, as Darius Bodian loses a place to Arjan Bilbas now. Arjan is now going to try and recover a place and go ahead of David Hoy in all of that process. Grad stays around 3, 4, 5 tenths behind Ryan Grob. The difference in the ERS plays massive advantage for the Aston Martin driver. Ciborowski now loses a place to Jonathan Voss with front wing damage as well. I think Ciborowski might have some wing damage as well, but not as massive as Jonathan. As you can see, Jonathan's missing an end plate and Ciborowski is not missing anything. But maybe like 2% of wing damage or something like this. David Hoy meanwhile following the battle, as he is right behind Fraser Robertson, but I don't think he's going for a move just yet. Fraser Robertson does not go for a move as well. Jonathan Voss, well, he's comfortable ninth at the moment, but he's probably going to change the wing as if he goes once he goes to the pit lane. Following Drake Dempsey though, as he's currently on the last place of all places, the season 9 champion of ERO already, as he's got 300 points collected already throughout the season. Now in the last place, so this is a very rare sight, so we might as well watch it, as he's currently crossing the line, being 14th 0.9 seconds behind Ivanek. How quickly can he recover that one? We'll see, as Ryan Grob still on the lead of the Grand Prix, still comfortably ahead of Thomas Grard, who isn't really bothered to make a move just yet, as Harwell is close behind Quentin Hesh, but knows it's better to stay right behind him at the moment and maybe look for better opportunities. Fraser Robertson nearly fighting Chibirowski now for position number 10, last points paying position. I don't think he's going for a move yet, but you know Chibirowski is already using R10. As Quentin Hesh with Kyle Willis might have got something involved between each other. This makes Quentin Hesh lose a place not only to Harry but also to Ferry Wagner, and also lose the RS touch to the Alfa Romeo driver. Now he's having Justin Chevalier right behind him. Jonathan Foss early goes to the pit lane and goes for the medium tires, I believe, as he's already got wing damage and decides not to suffer with this one. As also Fraser Robertson round the outside of Bartosz Chibirowski into turns 1 and 2. Space just about given, and that is the Aston Martin driver up front. But Bartosz is not going to give this one up, I believe, as he was looking for a space down the inside, but I believe he better wait for the DRS, as they both have little to no ERS. There was very, very close for contact between these two now, as we've also got David Coy and Arjen Bilbas right behind these two drivers. Bartosz is already losing 6/10. He's now using DRS, so he may get closer to Fraser, but it will be closer to like, what, 4/10 of ratio? As David Coy goes down the inside of him into turn 8, and should make the move, shouldn't. Just about no, I think there was a little bit of a contact, but David saved it. As he's using now all of his battery to go down the inside into turn 10 of Chibirowski and makes the move. Not on the DRS zone, they are still side by side though, so we might have to follow on that one. David Coy, now on the inside line, should take the last points paying position, and there's a spin of together Arjen Bilbas and Chibirowski, but I don't think Chibirowski is really at fault at it. He had to follow what David Coy was going to do at the same time. So that was very, very complicated. As Jonathan Foss, well, actually Drake Dempsey found a new man to drive with, and that is Jonathan Foss. They will be just side by side, but Jonathan Foss, I believe he's going for a move sooner than later, because he's on the medium tires, which are basically on the better condition right now. Ryan Grob with Thomas Grard, both are ahead 4.5 seconds ahead of Luke Mills. Actually, make that 5 seconds for Ryan. There's a couple of incidents that have happened already, but all of them are like really, really close. But I definitely can say that Ferraris and Drake are having very, very unlucky race with Bartosz Chibirowski. But I think that's a 50-50 between these two. Jonathan Foss, well, Drake thinks better of it, although I believe he's still got fastest lap yet again. Drake Dempsey. That's very interesting. Close applies and still get the fastest lap. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. That is Ivanek. Spinning ground on the exit of turn 6. I believe that is. Well ahead of Foss and Dempsey though. Coming back to Ryan Grob though. Well, remember that we've still got rain going to appear throughout today's race. So even though someone's leading now by 5 seconds, doesn't mean they will lead by 5 seconds in like 5 laps time. I need to see the weather conditions though. It's all fine as of now for all the drivers. But I think the clouds are getting slightly darker and darker. This reminds me of 2021 French Grand Prix, where basically there was rain everywhere but the track. And we haven't seen any rain in 2021 French Grand Prix. The one that Max Verstappen has made a late move on Lewis Hamilton after doing Hungary 2019. But on the other way around this time. And Hungary 2019 was basically Lewis Hamilton going again for the pit stop. I don't remember which tires exactly, I believe that was medium tires, and making a late move on Verstappen. And this time it was the other way around in 2021, as Bodian picks up the first penalty of today's race. I believe he still survived longer compared to PCF2 race yesterday, where at least I can tell I got no warnings. Actually, I did get no warnings for exiting track with it. So that's a very interesting stat. You might not care about it all. Ivanek now fights Jonathan Foss for position number 15, but that wasn't really a massive fight. Drake Dempsey now goes for a cheeky down the inside. And I think he's still going to get the DRS of Jonathan. That's going to be on the edge though. It is on the edge, but it's in. And now Drake is going to chase down Jonathan and Bartosz Ciborowski as well. The gaps are slightly decreasing as more and more drivers get disconnected from their own trains. For example, Luke Mills is already 2 seconds ahead of Harwell, so he doesn't have to really bother. As he's currently just third, chilling. And he's going to stay like that for a couple more laps at least. Very, very safe and sound. Maybe even till the end of the race. But we'll see about that. How about the tire strategies though? Everyone bar Jonathan is on hard tires. And Dempsey is the second of the drivers who have pitted already. Position changes, by the way. We can take a look as Boldian now lost the place to Kulpavakovic. Actually let him pass by not really fighting. As Fraser Robertson picks up a second time penalty of this afternoon. Fraser Robertson, 1 place up, although mid. As looking at drivers who have gained most of places, these are Justin Chevalier with 8 places and Hogan Wilson with 6. So that is very, very decent performance at the moment for the Alpine and Red Bull driver. Yellow flags, Sector 1 are caused by Ciborowski having a spinner. Because he was basically 7 seconds ahead of Jonathan and 7 seconds behind Arian. So that was a spinner, 100%. But he's having no damage at least. Also, Thomas Grad very, very close to Ryan Grob now, so I think he's got plenty of VRS and not too much time, considering there's more clouds than 2 laps before. And that means Thomas Grad needs to hurry up a little, maybe even think of a move on Ryan Grob sooner than later. These 2 drivers both are fighting for the first victory this season. And for Thomas, it's going to be the first win of his entire career. For Ryan, who was racing as a Tom Maurer, as a fun fact, on season 6 and the start of 8. That is an opportunity to win for the first time since season 6. He's got plenty of podiums in this game, basically, season 8 and 9, but 0 races, although there was 1 pole position in Australia. Baudian, 13th now, causing yellow flags, I believe. Being behind Arian Bilbas and also picking up a 3-second time penalty in the process, so rip his chances for points, I believe. Now that's the question if Thomas Grad, he's actually using a bit of ERS, probably just to make sure he's close to Ryan Grob. No, he's actually using it. He's actually going for a move for the lead of the Grand Prix. He's going to go down the inside into turn 8, and I think he's going to make it stick for the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of the McLaren of Ryan Grob. And he's also got 7 tenths of advantage, 5 now. But that was actually a massive one for Thomas Grad and allows him to take the lead of the race for now. And not actually worry if the rain is going to come and if he's running out of time. Now it's Ryan Grob under pressure before the rain comes out, because you must know it's harder to overtake in the raining conditions. Justin Chevalier also doesn't waste any more time. Actually, that is Quentin Hesh, sorry. But he's going down the inside of Ferry Wagner. Yet to make a move though, so I think he's going to wait for the DRS. No, he's going for a switch back down the inside. Not quite just yet, as he currently has to stay on this position number 6. And Justin Chevalier is working all of this. Nelson also lost a place to Fraser Roberts in the process. David Coy currently on 10th. I believe Ciborowski is slowly catching up the rest of the field, but definitely he doesn't catch up to Drake, who's already 1.2 seconds. He's slower than Jonathan Foss, although Jonathan Foss is on medium tires, so we may understand that as well. But the champion of Season 9 having actual troubles in this race when it comes to getting from last to first. So maybe qualifying was a good idea. Ryan Grob is now having 10% less ERS than Thomas, who wasn't using it until actually making a move onto the lead of the Grand Prix. Now he's running out of time. Now he's using every single little bit of it. Like, every bit of time. But he's actually waiting for that better opportunity, you know. He's currently like 3-4 tenths behind Thomas Grad. I don't think he's going to make a move just yet on this current DRS straight that they are approaching, but maybe on the longest one. Something is going to happen between these two drivers. Luke Mills, who's also won the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, by the way, because Drake Dempsey got a penalty for something of track which is called cross-teaming. Wasn't massive though, so no major penalty was applied, only 5 seconds, enough to make Luke Mills win the Grand Prix. And Aaron Bilbas, I believe, no, Jonathan Foss on the second. Aaron Bilbas was stuck in the midfield. This actually raises the question who's going to finish second in the championship, because we've got plenty of contenders. Ryan Grove currently catching up with these 18 points, or even 19 points, because we have to consider pole position, who's also got the fastest lap. That's the question Jonathan Foss. And I think there's a chance he gets it until the very end of the race. Have a Ryan Grove. Now, are you using DRS to make a move on Thomas? The rain is coming, basically. I'm going just to tell you that. He's not. But, going back to the P2 contenders, we've got Ryan, who's now currently getting 19 points, the standings, as this is the reason why we've got the pause menu for a moment. We've got Arjan Bilbas on the second currently, who's having 103 points, but also troubles throughout current race, staying on 12. Luke Mills, 92 points, with Jonathan Foss as well. Just won the first league race of his career in Ero, at least in Pc F1. Jonathan Foss, 92 points as well, with no race wins this season. Ryan Grove, 85 points, but catching up to these two drivers, actually 3 drivers with these 18 points. I think that's it. Phil Pavakovic actually made just about secure his granted seat if Quentin Cash doesn't get the great result. Because Sami Naka, I don't think he's going to race any longer. Ryan Grove, in the meantime, was very, very close from overtaking Thomas Grad, but the straight was just a little bit too short to make him. How about Ferry Wagner? He stays on position number 5, yet to make a move still. And I think that all these drivers from the back, Dempsey, Foss, Ciborowski, will be catching up to Darius Bodian. We'll be monitoring the gap, as Ferry is currently just at it. Did I just see a light coming up? I remember the times when in F1 2020 we've got an all-star race in season 4 to end it actually, and it was a 100% race. And you know what happened? Basically, around the middle of the race, when it was already dry, like right lap 35 or something, the track suddenly became. We suddenly started to race at night, not during the day. That was the game glitch. Oh wait, sorry, Ryan Grove was very, very close to Thomas Graz. But coming back to that all-star race, around lap 35, we've suddenly seen night. It was night all along. Now, there is a video on my private YouTube channel if you want to look that one up. If you see Watch Śmigowski, then you're going to see it. And yes, Mitchell, you can get the driver of the day for trying to turn up. That is enough of a commitment. Forget it. Anyway, that was very, very interesting to race at night in France, and I think night races should be added to F1 on all tracks. As Ferry Wagner actually goes ahead of Harry Wales for position number 4, right before the rain. We just don't know when the rain is going to come. I think it's in a matter of like lap 16 or 17. Jonathan Foss meanwhile gain like 2 seconds on Darius. So I think they're going to gain enough on him before even rain. Ryan Grove is still wasting time behind Thomas Grard, although he's getting very, very close behind Aston Martin drivers back. As he nearly slides in the process, Harways now goes ahead of Ferry Wagner, and Quentin Cash was looking for a move as well. This is why we're switching cameras so often. But it's the change between the Haas and the Alfa Romeo. Alpines stay 6th and 7th. And I did nearly miss Ferry Wagner being overtaken by Quentin Cash. Clean overtake, by the way, for position number 5. So these drivers are wasting no time. Quentin nearly spins around, or actually fully spins out, no. But Ferry Wagner has to go wide yet again, and now the Alpines are side by side. But I think that Justin Chevalier has just let Quentin pass. Didn't really want to fight. But this is a position gained for the Albins by a mistake of Quentin Hesh. But as a trade offer, you've lost the RS. So not the greatest. And I think this opens up chance for Justin Chevalier to get close to Quentin and maybe even make a move on the next DRS straight. The rain is coming. Darius Bodian, by the way, 1.7 ahead of Jonathan Foss. So I think the move is coming in lap 16. Actually, this is lap 15, so lap 15. Yeah, the lights are already flashing, so I think this is not the greatest idea because you're basically wasting energy because we can still see everything. But probably they're preparing for the night if it comes out. Like in F1 2020 days, as I said. As Ryan Grop right behind Thomas Grard, yet to make a move. More of these drivers have the exact same levels of ERS. Looking for any potential fight. Will Pawlakovic stays behind David Hoy if you're wondering of anything. That's all I've got to say. Meanwhile, looking at the front of the grid, the top two drivers, well, actually, I think the rain is coming. Not just yet, but it's coming, as Ciborowski spun round, probably waiting for the interconditions and the rain to fall. Meanwhile, Fraser Robertson goes to the pit lane. I wonder what he's cooking, because there's 0 droplets as of now, so I think he's gone too early. Definitely has gone too early, as Jonathan Foss makes a bold move on Darius Bodian. There's so much action going on as Darius is going to fight this one back, I believe. He's using all of the ERS. He's going around the outside of Jonathan into turn 1. That is so satisfying to see. But I think that Darius is going to stay behind Jonathan as he goes wide in the process, allows Rick Dempsey to go ahead. And that is the end of Darius' great fight. Ciborowski's out in the session, but into the pit lane. Not the greatest debut, but at least he's got a decent qualifying position. So I think he's going to do better in the next races. He's got that qualifying. Yellow flag in sector 2 and 3 are caused by Bodian, who spun round. Mercedes are having far from ideal race weekends. Aaron Grops nearly spins round in the process. And Fraser Robertson is on the mediums. What is this tire strategy, Fraser Robertson? I'm wondering. Should have gone to mediums at the start. As Ryan Grop is actually using a bit of ERS. He's going to look for a space down inside, but not enough to make a move. If he used that ERS, he would have been ahead of the Aston Martin driver. Now they have to watch out for the Alpha Tauri. No, they don't really have to. As Ciborowski is already out of the track, Bodian with another 3-second time penalty. At least he's getting that track time to race him. Quentin Justin Ferry, very, very close behind Harry Wales, but I don't think they're just making a move. So I believe we should be watching Ryan Grop. He's actually using the RS and the RS on Thomas Grard and goes ahead of the Aston Martin driver into turn 8, fully ahead of him to confirm that position. And now he's leading the Grand Prix yet again. Now the question is, when is the rain going to come? We are all wondering here in Paul Ricard when there's going to be a change of weather conditions, as we've been told that's going to be a heavy rain, then maybe lighten up a little, but we cannot expect a dry track at the very end of the Grand Prix, but the rain is still yet to come. And I'm wondering what is the tire pressure, tire wear for all of the drivers. Dempsey ahead of Jonathan Foss into turn 8 for position number 12. This last to first process takes him way too long, I believe, but I think he's going to cut Arjen Lubas sooner than later. As you can see, he's already gained 2 tenths. These 2 laps of advantage are actually playing off for him. Coming back to Thomas Grard, is he going to waste no time or is he going to waste yes time? That is the question, as he's not using any ERS. He's probably waiting for the ERS straight. Number 2. knows this is a better opportunity to overtake that than here. Imagine we've got like 6 gear corner as a turn 1. Like a quick left-hander rather than upper mid-speed left-hander. But overall, French Grand Prix proves to be an interesting one. As Thomas Gard sees that Ryan Grubb is weaving about a bit, still saves ERS though, so I don't really know what he's doing. Robert's on the fast stop of the Grand Prix, but he's 6.9 seconds behind Yuan and 4, so that doesn't really change anything. Thomas Gard is now using ERS, but I don't think it's to make an overtake. It's to get a little bit closer to Ryan. And these two have left already Luke Mills by 6 seconds as Harwales is spun on the exit of turn 9, and now he's going to be behind Hugo Nilsson and probably even Quill Pavlakovic. Definitely behind the Red Bull driver. And does he have any wing damage? No, thankfully. So he's just spun around, but Quill is looking for the space to go down the inside or around the outside of him regardless. He just wants to get ahead of the Haas driver. No, not happening just yet. And now Thomas Gard, I have a tip for you. You have to use the RS if you want to overtake Ryan. He's not. He's happy to stay half a second behind and then finish second. Come on, you've got plenty of ERS compared to Ryan. Ryan's got only 22%. It's like no better opportunity than right now. The rank is still yet to come, because you can see it's lap 19. Thomas nearly spins, so I told you. I was right all the time, and yeah, he needs to use it all if he wants to stay in the DRS of Ryan. He still doesn't. I don't know what Thomas is doing. He's only regained a 10th after this near spin. Or 2. Ferry right behind the Alpine drivers, but I don't think Alpine drivers are going to fight. There's no reason to, because they're set to be 4th and 5th. Harwell is already making move on Hugo Nilsson, so that was a very quick recovery in 7th. Where's Drake? Drake is 3.3 seconds behind Arian. Just imagine Ryan is in the Mercedes, and I personally get flashbacks from Season 6 PSF1 title fight between Guil and Drake, which could have gone as the best one in the entire history, even of F1 2021 as a game in overall. But yeah, 3 races to go, and Drake unfortunately had to retire from it. Today is just see raindrops. Yeah, I did see raindrops. We are having rain, ladies and gentlemen. We are having wet weather conditions. Not just yet, but the water is going to come on the track, and it's going to make the drivers' lives much harder. As congratulations for all of the teams T-posing. Well, that is fantastic display of these. Now I'm wondering, on which tires does David Coe go? He already goes on to Intas. It puts him down on P14, but I don't think he's going to gain a lot of it. He's basically gone for it lap or 2 too early. And Thomas Gard has used a little bit of ERS way too late. If he wants to win this race, he needs to fully send it now. This is a now or never for him opportunity, as Marek Ivanek goes to the pit lane. The Mercedes driver is heavily struggling today, but at least they're still going. So congratulations for determination, which is a skill that is lacking in today's world, and plenty of fields, as Justin Chevalier nearly spins in the process. I'm wondering, who's going to be the first one to go to the pits? Ryan or Thomas? Thomas is actually... No, Ryan Grubb may have even cut the pit entry line. But both of these drivers have gone to the pit lane already. And DRS is already disabled as well, so I think this is the clear signal. Everyone has to go to the pits. Justin Chevalier he stays out, of all people. Ferry Wagner nearly breaks to the back of Quentin Hesh. Everyone is pitting already. As Harwales pits as well, picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the process. Bilbas, Dempsey, and Foss all pitting as well. Robertson into pits. Now, how many positions is David going to recover or gain? I don't think he's going to gain a lot. Drake stays out! Drake stays out of all people as well. And he's going to stay on track on the 5th place. I think the win is gone. Definitely. Even the podium as well. He's basically wasted any chances for a great result, Mr. Drake. As Ferry Final comes out on 7th. I don't think Drake is going to be caught by Quentin Hesh on this lap, but I definitely think that he's going to lose plenty of positions now. How many positions David Hoy has gained? Basically little to none, because he's 11th, but he gained no places. He's just out of the Ferrari. But Pavlakovic probably knows that Harryways has already got a 5-second time penalty. But he's going to waste no time, as you can see, he's using all of the ERS in the world to overtake Harryways for position number 9, and he does it successfully. And gets at least 2 points from today's race, or maybe even 4 once Drake pits. Where's Drake? And where's Quentin? Quentin is entering to 10. I think this wasn't the greatest decision to go into the pits now, on this lap, but the previous lap was the ideal spot. As Justin Chevalier, at least he finishes this lap as the leader of the race. Not really crosses the line, but finishes. Goes to the pits as the leader. That should be a proper explanation. Ryan Grob on the way to win the first race since season 6. Drake Dempsey on the way to the pits to pick up into tires. In which position he's going to come out? I think he's going to come out right behind Darian Bilbas in a 12th. And remember, this rain is going to evolve into heavy. Any more teams T-posing? No, I don't think so. About the NFF is a second penalty for multiple warnings again. At least he's got someone to fight with, and that is Marek Ivanek. Drake Dempsey is not even going to come out on position number 12. He's going to come out on position number 13. Behind Jonathan Foss again. So we can say he didn't lose too much, though. Now Thomas Gratz is also side by side with Ryan Grob, and Ryan Grob gets a 3-second time penalty in the process, but Ryan Grob looks for the switchback, so there is definitely some fighting going on. Why so late though? As Thomas Gratz takes the lead of the Grand Prix, however Ryan Grob gets a 3-second time penalty. This might be removed though, as they got it fighting. And the McLaren, they are probably not happy with that. However, Ryan should be removing that one and at least getting that 2nd place. Well, he's definitely getting 2nd place because Luke Mills is basically 6 seconds behind the top 2 drivers. The G's, basically, as of their last name starts with a G. As Justin Chevalier with Harway side by side into turn 10 nearly, but not yet making a move. Hugo also having a great strategy though, picking up 6th place. Harway's picking up a legitimate time penalty. There's no way you're removing that one. Justin Chevalier goes super wide on the exit of turn 12, but just about keeps the position. Darius Bodian with a 2nd time penalty as well. There is like 3, 6, 8 drivers with no penalty so far. Aaron Bill was having better exit than the Highways on the exit of the final corner, and that allows him to get into ninth. Now Ryan Grob probably lost that bit that allowed him to lead the Grand Prix because he's already losing a 2nd to Thomas Grard. That bit is called ERS though, because he's got 20% less. Marek Ivanek, no, that is Darius Bodian, sorry, spun round. Entering turn 11. Who will pass Harry into the pits and go Harry a 5-second time? Is this something we call going for a gap into the pits, as Justin Chevalier is about to make a move on Quill? Yellow flags again. That is David Hoy spinning around in the exit of the corner, but I don't think he's got any wing damage. Meanwhile, the Williams and the Alpine are fighting side by side, and I think Justin's just going to get that move down into 7th place ahead of Quill. He is, but he isn't, because they are still will to will. We're watching this from Iron Bilbos' perspective. Quill has the inside, Justin has the outside, but I don't think that the Alpine driver is making the move for 7th place. Now he does with this down the inside. He does it again, as Quill is sliding around quite a massive bit now. Justin goes down the inside of the Williams, and Ariel Bilbas decides to do Hamilton from Silverstone 2022, and through going for it for position number 8, gaining at least one place. Will he go for another one on Justin Chevalier? Not quite here, but Quill yet to make a move. Yellow flags are caused by Bodian, I believe, but Ariel Bilbas seen an opportunity and actually got it. Jonathan Foss into the pit lane. It's the end of the Grand Prix for him, although I believe he could have gone for the points paying positions. Ariel Bilbas ahead of Quill, but when he's going to overtake Justin Chevalier, that is the question that we are raising here right now. We're asking it, because he's actually looking for that one very, very heavily. He's using ERS, but I don't think he's going to get that move. Yellow flags caused by essentially Bodian spinning again, as Ariel Bilbas touches with Justin Chevalier, but still stays behind, even loses time, probably some bit of a fair play, so congratulations for Ariel. But that was a bit of a contact that basically lost the time, but for Ariel, not for Justin, so that is one positive information for the off-lead driver. And guess who's about to join this fight? Drake Dempsey, because he's 2.7 and monster the gap kinda carefully. Why is Bodian racing? Because he isn't washed and he's actually trying, and that's something we need to praise a little. He's a minute. He was 7th after lap 1, so there's some legitimate reason for him to race. He was 7th after lap 1, fighting with Quill for 6th. And it wasn't due to chaos. He's got like 11 moves. Drake's already gained like half a second for like 3 corners, so might be going for some points. Also, Darius, if you're hearing this, get back to racing. You've still got like 3 laps to go in today's Grand Prix. And you're about to get lapped, so actually hurry up, you know. Rangrop, I believe, is already not winning this one, as he's got that 3-second time penalty. He's 1.6 behind. Thomas Grouts is on the way to win his first Yarrow race. So even in the best of circumstances, he isn't winning Rangrop. The best circumstances are called, this is where this is the champion of Season 9. And I think the champion of Season 9 is actually going to finish 9th, you know. You can see how close he is to Harwales. And you can see that he's less than 3 seconds to Ariel Bilbas. Although he goes wide. So that wasn't the greatest information. We have approached lap 26 with Thomas and Ryle, but I don't think anything's happening here. Very fucking, I thought he's going to the pits for a moment, as he was basically going a bit wide. But the question is, when Drake they're going to make a move from the Harwales? I believe it's going to be now. He sends it. But this is going to work. Harry has a better exit, because he got that little bit of more of a straight line speed. Now Drake is using all of the ERS in the world to get 10th on track. He's going for that singular point in the French Grand Prix, and he goes for it around the outside at the turn 1, and he's doing it. Clean overtake. But Harwales, I thought he's going to fight this one back, but he isn't. Drake now has to recover nearly a second to Ariel. Or at least get Quill. So the question is if he's going to finish in 10th or 8th. But he's finishing in one of these 3 places. Update on Darius Bodian though, he's yet to get lapped. And I don't think he's going to get lapped, because he's just got one more lap to go after this one. But if we count the time that he's got for penalty, the time penalties he's got for exceeding track limits, he would have been already lapped. Justin Chevalier though close to Hugo Nilsson, but I don't think he's going for a move. Unless he's desperate. Like with Quill. He got the move though. So I just realized that Quill lost 2 places in the process. Drake has already regained like half a second to Quill. And now there is also Arjan Bilbas on position number 8 with a penalty. I don't think it's enough for Drake to get ahead of him. The Quill definitely goes ahead of Arjan as of now. Robertson picks up a 3-second time penalty. And I believe we can welcome a new race winner definitely of the season 9. And that's going to be between Thomas and Ryan. I think it's actually between Thomas and Thomas. Because Thomas Grart is 2 seconds ahead of Ryan Grubb. And he's basically got it. He's just got a couple more corners. Darius, we also believe in you. We believe that you will not get lapped. If you don't get lapped, I will not give you any penalty points for blue flags. Because Rabi will. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. I am Bilbas. Did you just get 3-second time penalty for corner cutting? Trying to get closer to Justin Chevalier and Hugo Nilsson. Are you that serious? Or was it a glitch? I don't know. But definitely we're coming to the conclusion that Drake, Luke Mills, Sami Nakla, Cameron Dowd, and now Thomas Grart is going to be a race winner of Ero Pc F1 and Season 9. He is the 5th race winner. Congratulations for Thomas as he crosses line to win the French Grand Prix ahead of Ryan Grubb. He got it on the interstint as Ryan Grubb finishes 2nd, and we've got Luke Mills. Then we've got issues for Hugo Nilsson, who's losing all of the places in the world. Arjan Bilbas all of a sudden is 6th, fighting Justin Chevalier for position number 6. This is a chaos in the midfield, which has actually emerged on these final couple of corners. Arjan Bilbas is going to finish on position number 6, but he's going to finish behind Justin Chevalier, Quill Pavakovic, even Drake with Hugo Nilsson. As we are getting just about the confirmation right now. It is the end of the fuel for Highways as well, so that is very interesting. But Highways at least gets ahead of Fraser Robertson. David Hoy is going to finish on position number 13. Way ahead of Mark Ivanek and Darius Bodian, who basically survived, and that is the accomplishment from today's race. But yeah, here are the official racing results. We've got the short conference ready and sorted for now, but don't expect to hear from the drivers. Ryan Grubb is back on the podium places after missing 6 races. Let's finish first, Luke Mills. We're going to get this done. There's Bodian, congratulations for finishing. Not actually not! What a way to actually finish your race from Darius Bodian. I think he qualified still, so he crossed the line, I mean. Thomas Grart, the new race winner in Ero Season 9, as he's getting some leaves into the stands. And now they have disappeared, so I need Codemasters to work on that. Where does he put this decoration? That's one of the biggest mysteries of F1 22, I must say. As we are not allowed to get champagne in France, I believe. But that is all good. Thomas Grart is your winner of today's French Grand Prix in Season 9 of European Racing Organization. Actually, decent attendance, to be honest, because we could have like 18 and 19 with George Parr didn't disappear for reasons. But still a good race. For Jack Harrington, this is a proof that French Grand Prix is actually a bit interesting, because it was. Thomas Grart, Ryan Grubb, Luke Mills, that is your podium. Then we've got Quentin Hesh, Ferry Wagner, Justin Chevalier, Quill Pavakovic, Drake, Hugo, Arjan, Harry, Fraser, David, Marek, Darius, and the only two drivers not to finish race, Jonathan Foss and Bartosz Ciborowski. As we'll be getting the drivers into the conference, Drake Dempsey has decided not to start last again, as welcome the top two of the second and third of today's race, as unfortunately we're not going to have Thomas involved. But yeah, welcome you, welcome Ryan, welcome Luke, after getting podiums today, second and third, and the French Grand Prix in this changeable weather conditions. We'll start with Luke Mills on the third, so you can basically tell how the race went, because you've been involved in the fight for a little and then it just went away.
Where it happened last season, where I had like a 10-second gap in front and a 10-second gap behind. And this race was pretty similar, and it was also had inter conditions at some point, ironically. But fifth podium of the season, a lot more than I expected coming into the season. So that's good. Maybe I can get second in the championship, but now Ryan's back, I think it might be a bit difficult. We'll have to see.
Yup, at least that was a decent display from you two, as we're moving on to Ryan Grubb now, who was on the course for the first win since Season 6, but the late overtake on Thomas Yard stopped that from happening. You've also got a 3-second time in the process. I know this gives nothing when it comes to the end results, but are you going to appeal that just to have this 3 seconds off?
No, because I got the corner to leave him space, but then I almost spun, so he was already a second clear, and then I got another warning later on, and that was anyway over. It's just the wet weather, really. Dry pace would have been fine. I was chilling in the lead as well. I don't know why we fought in the dry, because I was just losing more time, but yeah, just no wet laps done on the new rig yet, so yeah.
Yep, so I think we can already call it a day. With these changeable weather conditions, it was already interesting enough, as yeah, it was fine. It was a fine display of a bit of a skill, a bit of incidents, a bit of overtaking, a bit of action in the French Grand Prix, which people say it's one of the most boring tracks, but actually proved that to be pretty interesting. Apart from Luke Muska probably disagrees now.
I mean, I already disagree from last season being in no man's land, and then it happens again. I just have some sort of curse with France, and I never get to fight people, so, you know, bit random.
Yeah, I like France because it's like one of the tracks where curbs are not hugely controversial. So, yeah.
Yep, I think
Also,
that it's a time to
go on.
actually round it off all, as we invite you for the Brazilian Grand Prix next week at the same time at 4 p.m. UK, unless there's some sort of a Formula 1 race going on. I believe there is, so there's a 10-minute delay. But if you can confirm though, because I haven't been watching this since years now. Anyway, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the PSF1 with the French Grand Prix in like half an hour's time. So, goodbye.